and welcome to the best place to be on a Sunday morning. Before we begin, let us acknowledge, and what comes next. Often we do a land acknowledgement, which is a sacred practice of paying attention to the earth on which we live, to name its history, its blessings, to call ourselves into a relationship with the natural world, and to acknowledge all that we have received. We sometimes follow that with a statement of our commitment to the work of anti-racism. This morning, by way of an invocation reminding us of these commitments and our responsibilities to those who are most marginalized and forgotten, I thought I'd share with you Blue's vision statement. Blue, B-L-U-U, stands for Black Lives Unitarian Universalism. It's a spiritual community for Black UUs and other Black people committed to collective liberation. Let hearing their words be our sacred practice as we begin our worship this morning. And I've edited this passage from the anthology Blue Notes for this moment. Our vision statement reminds us that Blue harnesses love's power to combat oppression and foster healing as a spiritual and political imperative. We know the power of love to be life-changing, inclusive, relational, uncomfortable, unconditional, and without end. And then the authors continue, may this power of love remind you that every ounce of what makes you you is welcome and celebrated here. May this power of love grow relationships beyond your wildest dreams. May this power of love call us into a sacred discomfort that will make us better and brighter humans in a world where we are all not yet free. May you know this power of love in the depths of your heart, mind, body, and spirit. And may this power of love never leave you and take up residence in all the places you call home. May such a love deepen our commitment to this community and to our work in the world. May it be so.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Unitarian Universalist Church West, to our wrap-up of this month's exploration of the path of love. It's so good to be together as a loving community, gathering in and among so many different spaces here in the UUCW Sanctuary and with those of you joining us virtually. Welcome all. My name is Rob Zimmerman and I serve on your Board of Trustees as president this year. Today we're talking about love and commitment. To tie into that, we are kicking off our pledge campaign, an annual event that strikes fear into your board and stewardship team. Fear and trembling, and also a lot of excitement and hope. You'll hear more about that and how you can marry together your love of and commitment to UUCW a bit later. If you're visiting for the first time today, in person or with us online, we want you to feel right at home. Let us know how we can help with that. And if you'd like to connect further, ask a question, or sign up to get our weekly e-news, you can talk to us after the service, send an email to visitor@uucw.org, or use the welcome side of the yellow form that you received when you entered the sanctuary. The nursery is open, and after story time, children grades 8 and younger will be invited to head off with their leaders to their own space and time. And all this space here on the carpet in front and at the worship exploration table at the side, already being well used, is available for you to spread out and get comfortable. In addition, the service is streamed into the community room, so if you need even more space, please make use of that. There's coffee and social time after the service today, and we hope you'll stay and chat. I'll be there and happy to answer any questions that you have. This is the last Sunday that the history boards and the timeline will be up in the foyer and the community room. Don't forget to play history bingo. The staff will draw for the winner on February 28th. Also today, there's a stewardship conversation for UUCW leaders, and that means everyone, all of you. That is from 12 to 2 p.m. right here in this room, and soup and bread will be served in the community room for those who need lunch beforehand. Just a couple more announcements, which are also printed in your order of service. The transition team is offering additional healing and listening circles, but they need RSVPs to set dates and times. Please reach out to them if you're interested in participating. And next Sunday is a new member Sunday. If you're ready to become a member of this congregation, please let Reverend Julie know. It really is a privilege to gather together and to attend to the things that provide meaning for us in our daily lives. You all are welcome here. Now let's light our chalice. Now we're good. The flaming chalice is the symbol of Unitarian Universalism. Each time we light our chalice, we renew our commitment to this faith. With the spark of a match, we make it new again, as fresh and as exciting as the first day we encountered this spiritual community and realized we were home. Today's chalice lighting words are those of Katie Gelfand. I invite you to join in reading them with me. We light our chalice as a symbol of gratitude as we celebrate the abundance of our lives together. In this shared space and time, we harvest bushels of strength for one another and offer our crop with the hands of compassion and generosity. In the authentic and gentle manner of our connections, we cultivate a simple sweetness to brighten our spirits. May we be grateful for the ways we nourish and uplift each other, for it is the sharing of this hallowed time together that sustains us. With these words, acknowledging all that we can do and be together, we light our chalice.
So let's sing. This song may be quite familiar, and we didn't even hand out the gray hymnal that it's in because we're changing the words up a bit. You can sing along with me, or you can answer in call and response fashion. If any of you young'uns want to join Dave up here near the table, he's got some shakers and music makers there where you can join in the music. The verses are listed in the order of service, so let's stand if that works for you and fill the room with song and joy and commitment.
Freedom What great energy. Good morning. I'm Dave Cicero, Director of Lifespan Religious Education here at UU Church West. My pronouns are he and his. So Reverend Julie and I chose the story that I'm going to be reading today with permission of Philomel Books. It's called What We'll Build, Plans for Our Future Together by Oliver Jeffers. And I know this author is a kind of a fan favorite among our children and youth. I've seen many eyes light up and energy be raised when his name is mentioned. Oh, I've got books by him. Before I begin, I think I'm just going to start with a few questions for you to consider as I read. So it's about building something, right? And when you're getting ready to build something, how do you prepare? What plans do you make? What tools do you gather? What needs do you have? Do you consider why you're building this thing in the first place? You know, why is it needed? Just some things to think of as we see the pictures and hear this story. What shall we build, you and I? Well, let's gather all our tools for a start. For putting together and taking apart. Let's build a door where there was none. We'll build a house to be our home. We'll build our future together. I'll build yours and you'll build mine. We'll build a watch to keep our time. We'll build some love to set aside. And build a hole where we can hide. A fortress to keep our enemies out, and higher walls for when they shout. But you don't always lose, and you don't always win. So we'll build a gate to let them in. We'll build a tower to watch the sky and other worlds that pass us by. Let's build a tunnel to anywhere. Let's build a road up to the moon. And let's build a comfy place to rest, for we'll be tired soon. Let's build a boat that can't be broken, that will not sink or be cracked open. A place to stay when all is lost, to keep the things that we love the most. But first things first, let's build a fire, for we've planned a lot, and now we're tired. It'll keep us warm, like when we were born. Then we'll say goodnight, as all is all right. These are the things we'll build. Us, together. And now I invite Caden, who's agreed to come up and light our RE lantern. And I invite everyone to sing with me our children's recessional while those children and youth with us today head off to their religious education classes. The words are in your order of service. As you go, may joy surround you. As you go, go in peace. Know our love is with you always. As you go, as you go. As you go, may joy surround you. As you go, go in peace. Know our love is with you always. As you go, as you go.
Imagine what our joy can do. This is the theme for this year's pledge drive, building on last year's theme, which was Together for Joy. Last year, we focused on getting you a lot of financial details, particularly about becoming fair employers, and laid out a 3-year financial plan. This year, we'll update you on how we've done, and also get real with you about the challenges and tensions we face, and invite you into the conversation about how to best use our resources in changing times and in ways that best support our values. Together, by imagining the possibilities, we will carry on and thrive. Here are just a few things you'll want to know. Our pledge drive is critical to the formation of our annual budget so that we can plan for the things we want and need to do. We want our budget to express commitments to our values. A budget is a moral document. Over the month, there will be many opportunities to learn more, including ways to help you discern what you're able to give this, your spiritual home. Early this week, you will receive a letter in the mail giving you many of the details. Soon, you'll also receive an invitation to attend an informal and personal cottage meeting where you can meet and talk with others about this congregation, its goals, and how our finances work. You might choose to wait until after attending a cottage meeting to turn in your pledge form, which can always be revised. During this month, you'll hear stories about what and how we love UUCW. Reverend Julie is going to tell you a bit more about that in a moment. For me, what I love about this church is fellowship, our shared commitment to a better, cleaner, and more just world, our beautiful music, and the chance to take time to reflect and to act together on what's important. You can share what you love about UUCW too. Reverend Julie's going to tell us how.
You know, Thich Nhat Hanh, among others, has said that everything can be a spiritual practice if we bring the right intention to it. And as part of pledging yourself to this congregation, we're asking you to write a love letter to UUCW. Seriously. This is a spiritual practice to reflect on what matters to us, and hopefully this community is one of those things. Naming what you love actually strengthens your commitment. Now, I was inspired to suggest this practice after attending last week's service at First Church downtown. Their worship associate that morning, Busy Schultz, offered her love letter to the congregation, telling of how since birth she had been held by and encouraged by and challenged by them. It was a deeply moving expression of her love. And so this invitation to a spiritual practice riffs on that. There was some information about how to do this in Thursday's e-news, but remember that because a love letter is a very personal thing, you should do it your own way. There's no suggested length or form. If it's helpful to you, you'll find some love letter stationery in the foyer along with a mailbox where you can leave your finished letters. And if you're willing, we'd love to have you read your love letter at an upcoming service. So just let me know how I can assist you in finding the courage or inspiration to do that. And now one of the ways that we express our love for one another is by sharing of our lives and by helping to hold all that is shared with us. So we're going to spend some time now in that time of sharing. You're invited to come to the mic to speak or to raise your hand if you'd prefer, and an usher can bring a mic to you. And as you share, I will light a candle for you. Remember that what you share will also be heard and held by those who are watching online. We'll edit out this part of the service for the video that we place online afterwards, but during this time, all of us are going to share those online and here together in hearing your life, what you want to share. And this is to allow you to speak openly and vulnerably, just with those gathered now. With each sharing, I'm going to respond with, "We hold you in love," and invite you, as you'd like, to respond with me as well. "We hold you in love." So if there are those who would like to share, you can come. I'll hand you the mic, and you can form a line to the side if you'd like. I'm going to light one final candle to represent all that has not been spoken, that's being held in the silent sanctuaries of your hearts, with a prayer that you will know that you are loved, that you are held, and that we're here for you. And I invite you into a time of meditation and reflection as Ruben plays for us, and when the music ends, we'll hold a moment of silence until the bell rings.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Mark Steinberg. Our reading today is called Stewards of Hope and was written by Rebecca Savage. It is dated October 16th, 2019, and begins with this quote from Maya Angelou. "I have found that among its other benefits, giving liberates the soul of the giver." Reverend Savage writes, "I'm delighted by how Spirit moves through our spiritual communities. A few summers ago, a member of our congregation drafted architectural plans for a little free library, LFL. The brilliance of the design is that there are doors on two sides of the library. One side is for adults, and one side is just for kids' books. With the help of many volunteers, including the congregation's youth, 2 little free libraries were built and installed, one near a main entrance and one near a walking trail at the edge of the property. They've been chugging along by themselves. People keep them stocked and utilized. These libraries are a beautiful, self-sustaining phenomenon, a gift to the community." And then, Spirit moved again, and a generous congregant asked to be a steward of the little free libraries. He realized that with a little love and regular attention, the LFLs could be even better, and was moved towards deeper ownership. I love this. This is the beauty and sparkle of spiritual communities. We dance together in the gentle unfolding of how we strive to be together. Needs arise, and beloveds appear to ask, "How can I help?" There's no fixed timeline, just the spiritual practices of generosity and stewardship. As a religious leader, I am also a steward of hope. So often, we can slip easily into conversations and endless news cycles that focus on dire calamity, and we feel overwhelmed, crushed, and dispirited. Yes, there is much wrong with our world, and so much has already been lost. The yes and endures, though. We do not have time to make changes today. We do have time to practice courageous love today. We do have time to revolutionize how we live out our faith today. This is how I serve as a steward of hope, by remembering and reminding others with a wink and smile that today can be for the good, one breath at a time, one act of love and forgiveness at a time, one act of defiance and change at a time. The prayer of my heart is that hope gives rise to insight, which gives rise to action for the good of us all. Please join me in the spirit of prayer. Spirit of life and love, may we perceive the needs that arise around us like a clarion call of love. May we recall with audacious hope the words of Martin Luther. Even if I knew that tomorrow the world would go to pieces, I would still plant my apple tree. Here ends today's reading on love and commitment.
I believe in the power of kindness. I believe in the power of love. When I live from a place of compassion, life is better for everyone. Oh, oh, life is better for everyone. I believe in the power of oneness, though I may not look like you. The truth that we are more alike than different is not some empty platitude. Oh, I believe.
I believe.
I believe. Whoa! I believe in the power of connection. When I'm brave and put down my screen, I release the fear of rejection. In your eyes I'm truly seen. Oh, oh, in your eyes I'm truly seen. I can see your point or insist that I'm right. I can be civil or I can pick a fight. Does it serve others or just serve me? What will it, what will it, what will it be? Oh, I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe in respecting your opinion, even when we don't agree. I am taking one step forward to live with you in harmony. Harmony, 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 I believe in
Action.
action,
Action.
action,
Action.
action. I believe action, 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 action. There is so much we can change. One great idea can start a chain reaction. Our world will never be the same. We are the people for this fight. We are the people. We are the ones who can show the way. Why not start a kindness revolution? Why not start this very day? Kindness revolution. Kindness revolution. Kindness revolution. Kindness today. When we believe in the power of kindness, when we believe in the power of love, when we live from a place of compassion, life is better for every life is better.
In the power of
Kindness, do you believe in the power of love? When we live from a place of compassion,
life is
life is better for everyone. Life is better for everyone. We are the power of kindness. We are the power of love. We are the heart of compassion. We are the power.
I'm all verklempt. Whew. We are the power. We believe in love and compassion and kindness. We're the ones who can show the way. Whew. So, were any of you fans of Pee Wee Herman? If so, do you happen to remember that episode where Pee Wee was in his playhouse enjoying a bowl of fruit salad with sour cream, or maybe it was ice cream? I don't really know what it was. He was really fawning over it in his way and saying how much he loved this combo. And then Mean Randy, flew out of the ceiling, and the way he did, taunting, "Well, why don't you marry it then?" And so Pee Wee did. He accepted the challenge, and the rest of the episode was all about that marriage ceremony of Pee Wee and a fruit salad, a bowl that actually wore a wedding veil. In the end, it turned out the wedding was really just part of a dream. But still, you gotta wonder what it means to choose to make a commitment to a fruit salad simply because you love it. Well, that's what we're talking about today, love and commitment, outside of the usual association of love with marriage. You know, there are so many things that we can love, things that we make commitments to, things that we might not choose to actually marry. But wow, that's a whole new take on marriage only being between a man and a woman, eh? Like, imagine introducing legislation to allow for a marriage between a human being and, well, a fruit salad. I don't know. I mean, would you ever choose to marry, say, this congregation, this faith? I've met with a lot of couples over the years who are contemplating or planning weddings. And the one thing I usually stress to them is to seriously consider what they're actually promising one another. What is it that their love requires of them? Now, some have resisted this because what they want is for their wedding to be all about the love that they feel. And sure, it's really great to express all those beautiful feelings because we do believe in love. But what commitment is that couple actually making because of that love? How will they actually live and practice that love? Now, in the context of a religious community, say this spiritual home, we would likely talk about those commitments in terms of a covenant. Our vows are a spoken or written commitment to one another, expressing our love in terms of how we will relate to and support one another. How our commitments are visibly expressed and telling us, encouraging us how to practice that love and giving and receiving from one another in an open flow of energy. That's really the lifeblood of beloved community. Being open, non-judgmental, receptive to new learning, while also giving freely and generously of what we have and what we can offer. You know, the lifeblood of UUCW is this reciprocal flow of time and talent and treasure. It's what keeps us alive, literally. Commitments flow naturally from our love, and our love is strengthened by living into those commitments. I don't know that as a culture we're all that great about talking about commitments and responsibilities. We tend to focus on freedoms and rights, which feed into the creation of an individualism that is frankly harmful to building beloved community. And since it's so countercultural, we sort of have to swim upstream to discover all the benefits of living in responsible relationship with one another. Covenanting isn't something that we know how to do without practice. It requires that we show up again and again and keep practicing. Now, as you've heard, we're entering a time of focusing on our financial stewardship, which is another oft misunderstood word for a deep commitment to the good of all, a lived commitment to doing our part to respectfully protect, preserve, and tend to the many gifts that we've received, all the things that we love. Stewardship encompasses everything in life that we've been entrusted with: our time, our relationships, our talents, our bodies, our resources, and even our love. Commitments are how we act when we are good stewards of love. According to Clarence Stoughton, who is the former president of Wittenberg University, stewardship is everything we do after we say, "I believe." Or maybe better, after we say, "I love." Stewardship is really about what we choose to love and then how we live our lives in ways to express that love. In fact, being good stewards of the love we feel and the love we've been given may actually be the greatest of our human responsibilities. And whatever opinion you might have of pundit David Brooks, I love this perspective. He said, "The most complete definition of a commitment is this: falling in love with something and then building a structure of behavior around it for those moments when love falters." The love we feel could, if we're willing to accept the challenge, draw us into the practice of building a structure of behavior, commitments and covenants that keep us in relationship even when love falters, which it is bound to do on occasion. Whatever you love, however you might name your sacred source, however you want your life to relate and be connected with something much larger than any one of a structure of behavior, your love applied to our faith may well compel you to make sacred commitments to ensure the existence of all the possibilities of creating beloved community together, building something together. That structure of behavior expressed in commitments may involve spending your time in ways that you hope will make a difference to others, those you love and care about deeply, those gathered here now as well as those who've yet to come through our doors. That structure of behavior calls us to fully engage and be intentional about how we move through the world as Unitarian Universalists committed to the work of collective salvation. As the Reverend Sophia Bentoncourt, who's the candidate for the UUA presidency, has said, that language, collective salvation, encourages us to move out of our comfort zones, a comfort that some feel entitled to, but that has caused far too much harm in our community. The idea that we are saved together means we invest in communal accountability and shared work for justice as the very things that give our lives value, even in the face of all that seeks to drive us apart. We choose instead, by our living, to bear witness to another way, a way that moves us out of toxic individualism." Unquote. Communal accountability, moving out of toxic individualism, huge tasks, big commitments that grow out of a big love for the vision of a better world. It can and certainly does involve a healthy amount of faith to return to this kind of task every day, every week, trusting in our commitments, relying on that established structure of behavior to keep our love alive. I read a sweet story the other day about the power of we, that being essentially communal accountability. It tells of a professor who gave each student a balloon of the same color, asked them to inflate it, and then write their name on it and throw it into the hallway. Then the professor went out in the hallway and mixed up all the balloons, gave the students 5 minutes to find their own balloon, and despite a hectic search, not one did. So at that point, the professor asked the students to take the first balloon that they found and then go find the person whose name was written on it. And within 5 minutes, everyone had their own balloon. The moral, as told, was that happiness is found in caring for others' happiness rather than just our own. But I have a slightly enlarged take on this. I don't think it's just about happiness. I see each of those balloons as representing the meaning and purpose that makes life joyful for each of us, that sacred center that's at our core. And I believe that one of the key things we love about this community is that it helps us to find and believe in our most authentic selves and to know that we're loved. And we can't do this alone. It happens because others are there to help us find our way. And seen in this light, practicing our love is a commitment to each other, the whole community, putting the good of another and of the whole before our own. And when we do that, in almost mysterious ways, somehow we find our own balloon too. There is so much potential for joy here because you have found each other and found this place that allows you to find the deeper meaning and richness in life and sharing with each other, a place where you can contribute your gifts and receive an outpouring of love from others. That experience of gently being handed a balloon of deep meaning and connection and wholeness. Here, this is for you. This is for you. In a couple of weeks, I'd like to invite you to consider with me more deeply why this kind of commitment can be so challenging, simply because of how countercultural it is, because of how much it goes against the onslaught of messaging we hear every day. And I look forward to that exploration with you. But for now, let me say that I get that there are many things you make a commitment to. Your family, your home, your vocation, finding joy. Maybe it's exercise or the creative arts or travel or justice work. Yet I would posit that religious community is foundational in supporting you in all of those other commitments. It's here that you discern what matters most to you, where you find what you need to make life choices that align with your values and enrich your life, giving you a place to offer your gifts in an outpouring of love. And so I ask, if you were marrying UUCW, if you were to walk down the aisle, Pee Wee Herman style, with this church on your arm, what are the commitments you would make? To share yourself gladly and without reservation? To seek this place out in times of need and to offer comfort to others? To step into leadership when you can and to honor the leadership of others? To plant trees or build tiny libraries for the benefit of people you may never know? To work for our collective liberation? To love and respect one another as long as we all shall live? What are the promises you make out of your deep love? In closing, I offer you a blessing on this holy union, honoring all the commitments you make to each other here, a blessing inspired by the words from the Blue Notes anthology that opened our service. May your love remind you that every ounce of what makes you you is welcome and celebrated here. May you know this love in the depths of your heart, mind, body, and spirit. May this love call you to make a commitment to live into a sacred discomfort that will make us better and brighter humans in a world where we are not all yet free. May this love inspire structures of behavior that guide you to make loving, inclusive, generous, and justice-based choices in every day and every way. So that finally, when you come to the end of your lives, you can say, because you have loved me, my love has grown, and because my love has grown, my life has been worth living. May we be so loving and so committed that we may be awash in the blessings of this beloved community. May it ever be so. Amen.
Good morning. I know the order of service says that I'm Julie Tolman, but actually I'm Kathy Lake. It's okay. UU Church West Split the Plate program is one of outreach and generosity. Each month we give half of our undesignated offerings to a nonprofit to help us live our UU values and serve our community. Our Split the Plate partner for February is League of Women Voters of Milwaukee County. Their mission is to encourage informed and active participation in government, increase understanding of major public policy issues, and influence public policy through education and advocacy. We're going to watch a quick video, a story from a young woman who shows the determination to vote that the League encourages.
I always feel like it's my duty to at least show up and vote, even if I don't think that my person or my party or my issue is gonna win. But it's like a responsibility and a duty that I feel like I have to myself, my community, as a female, all of the women who worked to make sure that I could vote in the past, just to carry that on. I'm Sarah and I'm a Wisconsin voter. Yeah, my dad took me with him to vote. I remember being pretty little, and I remember this because I think it was kindergarten, and we did voting in our school, and we all voted for the next governor. And I remember because I asked my mom who she was going to vote for, and she cannot vote because she is still a Japanese citizen. So I remember thinking that at that age, realizing some people vote and some people don't. And so imagine the power that we would have if everybody came together and voted. If everybody who didn't believe that they had a voice came together and put their voice into the system, we could really change things. If you have an opinion or an idea or an issue that isn't being talked about, it's even more important that you put it out there because you're the person bringing that forward with your vote. And I would also encourage people who, if they don't think that their vote counts, to get engaged in local groups and meet other people and have conversations with their neighbors. One thing I think we are maybe starting to see a change in is representation in candidates, and so I think that could be something that really brings people out to vote, is seeing people who either look like them or have a similar background or have a wider range of views on how to solve the world's issues. Be a Wisconsin voter.
For more information, see the Split the Plate article in the Weekly News. To help support the League, you can go to UCW's website, Donate tab, and select Split the Plate from the menu, or you can text or mail your donation today using this information. Today, I thank you for your generosity to the League of Women Voters, and will gratefully accept your offering.
So we've reached the time when we need to sum things up and then to sing again before heading out into the world, hopefully excited and energized by being reminded of the benefits of love and commitment. The last few weeks, we've included a spoken covenant, a commitment in our service, and today I invite you to read with me Affirmation of Hope by Loretta Williams. The words are printed in the order of service. Your parts begin with the letter C for congregation. It's called Affirmation of Hope. We, bearers of the dream, affirm that a new vision of hope is emerging. We pledge to work for that community in which justice will be actively present. We affirm that there is struggle yet ahead. Yet we know that in the struggle is the hope for the future. We affirm that we are co-creators of the future, not passive pawns. And we stand united in affirmation of our hope and vision of a just and inclusive society. We affirm the unity of all persons. We affirm our interconnected oneness that allows us to touch upon each other's humanity. We affirm a unity that opens our eyes, ears, and hearts to see the different but common forms of oppression, suffering, and pain. Yet, we are one in the image of God, and we celebrate our hopes for human unity. Within ourselves and within the gathered community, we will discover the strength not to hide in indifference. Affirming that hope, publicly expressed, energizes and enables us to move forward. Together, we pledge action to transcend barriers, be they racial, political, economic, social, or religious. We pledge to make our tomorrows become our todays. And what better way to sing ourselves out today than with the Fire of Commitment? You'll find it at number 1028 in the Teal hymnal. Please rise in body and or spirit to sing. From the light of days remember, birds of beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion need to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the stories of our living rings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion need to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the faith that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion need to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. Love it. take a look around, reach out your hearts to those around you, maybe even your hands. Give thanks for whatever inspiration or comfort or connection you have found here, and for all the hands and voices that have made this time possible. Breathe in and out. Feel the love of this community and offer a prayer of gratitude for all the blessings we have. Our closing words are those of John C. Morgan. In the end, it won't matter how much we have, but how generously we have given. It won't matter how much we know, but rather how well we live. It won't matter how much we believe, but how deeply we love. Amen, and blessed be.